think we have been having a very lively presentation, so I'll try to live up to the earlier presentation. So we are talking about ethanol. So this session is for ethanol, so I am restricting myself to ethanol just now. So basically, ethanol, you have three, four things which everyone has to come forward and do it. One is, of course, we need more and more feedstock because demand is not an issue. Because today's 20% demand itself, we are not able to meet with the available feedstock. Then continuously our petrol consumption is going up by 7-8%. So when you say today 20%, say 1500 crore, maybe after 5 years we'll have much higher of 20%. So because petrol consumption also is going up. So for that we have now standard feedstock like sugarcane, molasses, A heavy, B heavy, and C heavy. Then we have grains like start with broken rice, FCI rice, and maize. And some places they are also going to allow wheat, bajra, millets. There are so many options are there, starch based. Apart from that, we can think of sugarcane beet, then especially in the cold places. Then we can, I'm very keen to work on sweet sorghum. Already we have done some work. So sweet sorghum will really eventually will solve the feedstock issue in India. This is what we believe. Then we have different applications for ethanol itself. We have E10, E20, and we can go up to flex fuel cars. Diesel generator can have flex fuel, like according to Sri Gadkari ji. So he's promoting a lot of these new applications, flex engines, and SAF is of course there. But we need to always focus on low-hanging fruits rather than talking about SAF or something else, because we have this diesel generator next to our doors. So that is where I think we can do flex engine and try to use ethanol. So then of course we also have different applications like green chemicals which I talked about. Then we have liquor and of course many other standard chemicals which can be also made from either alcohol or ethanol from times to come. So eventually the future will be that you will have an ethanol plant which will take different kinds of feedstock. Then it will produce many more alcohol grades, including the byproduct chemicals. Then you have a lot of byproducts coming out of the waste from the plant. This would be the sustainable ethanol plant model in the future. So these are all some carbon emissions. That's where ethanol comes in and try to, as compared to many other countries, we are not producing so much of carbon. But since we have the opportunity to do ethanol and many other CBG, many other renewables, we can always work on the reduction of the carbon footprints. And our company was established as an engineering and consultancy company in 2009, and 2012-13 we became an EPC company. So now we have about 350 engineers, and we have already executed 120 plants, and another 20 projects are under execution. So all the work has been done in only last 5-6 years. Sorry for this. So where is the gentleman? So our vision is to become global #1 in renewables, biofuels, in all green, cleaner environment. And these are the projects we have done. I think everyone knows us as an ethanol machinery supplier. But in the last 2 years, we have also done a lot of work on developing biomass-based power cogen plant along with the ethanol plants. We have been involved in 33 cogen plants, mainly based on biomass for molasses distilleries or for grain distilleries. So one of the things we have done is we try to understand what are the efficiencies, what are the norms of power generation, fuel consumption, and what type of fuel. So we try to integrate those with ethanol plant so that every section efficiency we optimize, we improve, then we deliver the final project, which is more efficient than the project which is done a non-turnkey way. It is not just the EPC integration, it is more on the technology side. We have done a lot of work. So these are some of the achievements what we have done. So steam consumption is one where we are continuously working. When we started our journey in 2015, it was almost 6 kg per liter. Now we have brought it down to less than a 3. And in future, we hope that in next year we can come down as low as 1.5 kg per liter of ethanol. So we operate from Pune. Then we have 8 manufacturing units in Pune. We also have got manufacturing unit in Ghaziabad, in Durgapur, and hopefully we'll have one in Belgaum. We use 3D software models to design the plants. This is one example. This is our turnover. We are now more than 1,000 crore company. And see all the achievements, what we have done, and this is one reason where our Prime Minister has really provided everyone an equal opportunity, including the technical people, companies like us, and the investors. So everybody is growing and doing well. And these are all the supports which are given by government. So of course today morning I already covered. And basically the key driving force or the parameter is the petrol consumption demand. So by 2030 we'll end up increasing from 27 metric million ton now to 41 million ton. So this is also going to go up because these were projected, considering growth of EV vehicles and also COVID slowdown. So if you multiply these numbers with 20%, we are already having more than 1,000 crore. Plus whatever is the petrol consumption growth, that will add continuously to the 1,000 crores. So it could be around 1,500 crore only on ethanol. So if they come with some blending with diesel or with diesel generator and many other applications in between, so those will add to the demand. So demand would never be an issue in India. And this is a very important slide. So even our petrol cars are going to double by 2030 from 20 to 41 lakhs cars. So because EV, even though EVs are being talked about it globally, but if you really know that today total electricity generated worldwide, almost more than 50%, 60% is coming from fossil fuels. So if anyone will promote EV as an alternative to ethanol or to help the environment, that ultimately you are polluting elsewhere and you are trying to protect your own community environment. So also there are challenges with lithium battery, even though they claim they have a lot of lithium in Jammu recently. But again, mining it and purifying it and getting into a battery, that is going to be a challenge. So it will not be a cost effective. So we don't see EV as a threat to ethanol. So even a couple of days ago, Toyota new CEO who was appointed to really promote EV vehicles, he himself is discouraging production of more EV models by Toyota worldwide. So basically, if hydrogen comes, I think we'll switch over from ethanol to hydrogen. Probably we can think of flexi engine for using ethanol and hydrogen. So these are all the states which are producing excess ethanol. So there are few states we are going to have a scarcity of ethanol, like Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Kerala, where there is no water, there is no feedstock. So then Rajasthan is another state. Gujarat, even though a lot of plants are being put up, I'm not very sure whether they will be able to run 330 days. So more and more opportunities are there for the neighboring states or within those states where one can invest in ethanol plant. So of course, this is the bifurcation of grain and sugar. Like morning I explained that hypothetically, if all 20% ethanol is coming from sugar cane, molasses or stored syrup or be heavy, then your sugar price is going to shoot up. So one can do very simple arithmetic and understand why government is talking about grain. So in our opinion, to balance out the excess sugar of 5 to 6 million ton, so if you have 10 to 12% ethanol coming from sugar industry, that will balance out. Then of course, if there is any expansion of sugar industry or increase in the yield of sugar, then that will push the excess sugar. Then same time, you also have 5 million, 6 million. This is the 50-50. This is what is projected by Niti Aayog, that end of the day they will have 50% coming from grain, 50% from the sugar mills. So again, this slide also talks about the same. Then this is the excess grains, what has been projected by the government, that if you do sugar is so much, then rice, then maize. So I think supposing if you end up using too much of rice, if the rice prices go up, government will have a quota or they will ban it for some time. So I think maize will take over as an alternative feedstock for fuel in the long run. So worldwide it has happened. Worldwide today ethanol is produced either from sugarcane, wheat molasses, or from maize. So these are the prices. I think everybody is familiar. So see, in the last 3-4 years, fortunately, we got a lot of opportunities to work on the actual projects, and we experienced ourselves what changes have been done. Because one is you have plant capacities are going up. We are building almost 12 projects of average 500 KL, and we already commissioned quite a few of them. Ugar has done 800 KL plant last year. So definitely this is going to be economic of scale operation in times to come. So quite honestly, we are discouraging people who are going to put up 50 KL, 60 KL plant unless there is some valid economical reason in terms of feasibility. So we are discouraging them. So this would be average. Average could be this year it is 200 plus KL. So that is what is going to happen. Then multi-feedstock, multi-product plants, will have to be done. And there is always a continuous pressure on the OPEX because average inflation in India is around 7 to 8%. So your cost of chemicals, cost of enzyme, cost of transport, cost of engineers, everything is going to go up. So apart from fuel and apart from your feedstock. So the only way to survive is to continuously upgrade your technology and plant, then continuously reduce your OPEX. So that is what we have been doing. Then all plant has to be gender-D and environment friendly. So see, earlier days when we started any gender-D plants, so customer in any industry always say that there is, I need to spend a lot of OPEX. One is the CAPEX, that is one time, that is okay with me, but OPEX. So the very smart way is to look at, a lot of byproduct values, value maximization, so that whatever CAPEX you do on the ETP side and OPEX is there, it is always, covered by the byproducts. Then higher safety norms, higher level of automation. There are a lot of diversified groups are coming. There are a few petrochemical companies, there are a few fertilizer companies are coming into this field in a big way. So they are also bringing in new ideas, new engineering requirements. So it is definitely going to help everyone. So of course I will just fast forward few slides. So this is basically a pie chart of the cost of production. So still utility is 15%. So I think we all can work together to bring it down to 5% by next year or so. So this is possible. So utility in terms of steam and power and water. So there are technologies available in other industries which have been used already. So we all can discuss and work together. And the raw material cost, any sugar or starch that is not converted, that can be converted with more enzymes and more technology parameters. So which we can always improve the efficiency. So I think over the period of 5 years, I think almost ferment efficiency has gone up, liquefaction efficiency has gone up, distillation efficiency has gone up. So there is still, like when I started my journey in this industry way back in 1990, we used to write 90% fermentation efficiency. So we are at 92 now. So still there is 8% gap is there. So we all can work. So Emax is our technology which takes care of all the other parameters like water footprint, generally. So this is our journey about the steam consumption. So now we have come down from 6 to 2.5. So next year we are very hopeful and confident that we can go to 1.5. So more steam we reduce, so your fuel cost is reducing, your water consumption also will go down, your effluent generation also will go down. So that is the beauty of, of course, the boiler sizes will be low. So whatever hardware we are going to add in the process plant, that can be taken care by the, reduction in the capex of the power plant. So our boiler friends will not be happy, but of course, the pressure of the boiler will go up, so that is enough for them to consider it as a challenge. So we are building few distilleries with 90 pressure boilers. Already one plant is commissioned. So, and we hopefully we can go as high as sugar mills, like 110, 130 in times to come, to compensate for the loss of power when you reduce the steam consumption. So these are different feedstocks. So I already explained about sweet sorghum. Of course, 2G is there. I think because when I did my masters in Suratkal, so my project thesis was bagasse to alcohol, 1990. There are quite a few university is offering a PhD during those days in NCL Pune. There were a couple of them got PhD in 1990 on bagasse to alcohol. But unfortunately or fortunately, we are having to discuss the same problem what we used to discuss, talk about high pre-treatment cost, high enzyme cost, high capex, and no value for the byproduct. So no idea about the, those are the same now also. I think globally also now people have realized that 2G is not going to be there. I think instead of 2G, we can fast forward go to 3G, where you will have algae or any other material which is more softer. And because in distillery we have a lot of CO2 coming out, so that CO2 can be used for generating algae, and algae can be used for doing alcohol. So there's a possibility. So we are working on this pilot project in Thailand. So we'll be happy to share the results once it is commissioned. So this is a standard block. Of course, you have an incineration boiler. There is always going to be a challenge when you do BHB or when you do syrup. So we are trying to work out a scheme where you will have a installation boiler. At the same time, you will have a potash recovery system. So that will make it easier for everyone, so that the boiler can be designed optimally for taking care of the low spent wash ratios in case of sugarcane. Then, of course, in case of grain, we have a standard DDGS route. We are also working on separating the corn oil after the distillation. So that corn oil, if the plant capacities are quite large, then we can do also biodiesel as a byproduct of the ethanol plant. So here, the one most important thing is worldwide, especially in US. So we are producing ethanol from corn, not by dry milling. It is always by wet milling. So wet milling gives a lot of byproducts, which will have more edible use and more value addition. So in India, due to certain obligation, they wanted to discourage the starch miller to get into ethanol in a big way. So they have specified as a dry milling. So in times to come, definitely larger corn ethanol plants can be on wet milling. That's where you can produce a lot of byproducts, value-added byproduct. Even the oil which you separate before the process can be used for edible use. So this could be a game changer. And also the yield improvement per hectare from corn, that has to be looked at very seriously. So today I am not promoting GMO, but one can always look at doing better, variety of the corn to help the ethanol industry. So these are the standard blocks of different feedstock, how you can add. So we have already done quite a few projects. One example is Hermes Distillery in part of Shiv Shakti Sugar in Belgaum, Chikodi. So there that plant there's a 500 KL new plant. So that can use sugarcane syrup, that can use maize, that can use rice, molasses, and that can produce ENA, ethanol, everything. So hopefully in future they will add few chemicals. So these are the the feasible options which are possible. So we understand that at once you cannot build everything, but one can always have a bigger land, so that later on depending on the economics you can always decide to add few sections, so that the whole industry will become more sustainable. So of course these, you know all the figures. So I'll be sharing this presentation to you. So, so this is one area where recently we have taken a project in Erode. So hopefully we would be using this tapioca cassava if it is in excess. Yeah, so in Thailand, we are doing quite a few two projects we are doing based on cassava. In Indonesia also they are using this cassava. So if any institute like the Lingappa Institute come out with more work on this cassava and convince the industry, I think this could be also an alternative feedstock. Of course, 2G we already discussed, and this also morning we discussed a lot. So basically, this could be a future for Indian ethanol complex. So you will basically have a wet milling, then you have sugarcane, then you have a lot of cellulosic material, then you have many chemicals coming out of the cellulosic ethanol complex. These are our few plants. This is the Ugar plant, 800 KL. This is designed on a very low pressure of steam, 1.1 kg per liter per centimeter square. Yes, so this is the 800 KL plant. So we are adding 600 KL grain to it for off season. These are few pictures of other plants. Balrampur Chini is another example where they did a 360 KL plant with molasses, PAV and sugar cane syrup, then grain, and the boiler was designed considering the lower load of the spent wash in case of syrup. So they have a very small boiler. Wave industry is where we are doing a lot of water management, water recycle. So this is not taking any single drop of water for 12 months. Whatever is coming from the sugar cane, so they are being used in MBR, then we are recycling it. DSCL we did 2 plants. So LS Sugar we have done 2-3 projects. So these are all grain plants. So Parle Biscuit also they did 2 projects with us. Indaglycol, this is one company which is very passionate about doing green chemicals. Originally they started building a plant for ethanol for the oil companies. Then later on they realized they can develop a good market for all kinds of green chemicals. Almost now 300 KL ethanol is going to as a raw material for the green chemicals. So this is one make in India trial we are doing. So earlier we are guilty of importing from China. Then the war happened at the border, smaller war. Then we realized that we still have a lot of time to really rectify our mistake. And now we have done almost 25 trials are commissioned, another 25 under execution. We do a lot of CSR for Indian Army and Women's Cricket. And this is one initiative we have taken to establish an independent association for ethanol and biotechnology, which is registered in Dharwad. So, because SISTA is very helpful in trying to organize dedicated ethanol conferences, but everywhere else, we need to struggle and we need to fight for ourselves. So, as an NGO, social responsibility, we decided to start this, and with this, we want to have about 5,000, 10,000 members all over India and abroad, and try to take up a lot of these issues with the government, technical issues, researches under this. So I'll be very happy to invite all of you to join a member. From next month, we'll be starting the membership. So I hope that everybody will come forward and support. And this will not be for any business, this is more for the industry. So these are 50-60% business is coming from the repeat customers. So we have done 4 or 5 projects for many of these companies. So recently we got almost 1,000 crore order from Kripco, is a fertilizer company. So they have placed order on us for 3 grain ethanol plant, complete on LSTK mode, including civil work, boiler, turbine, everything. So many of these CBG and liquid fertilizer, we have been discussing with them to develop for the industry. So they are willing to work with us in understanding CBG and also trying to make it more profitable by doing better liquid fertilizer. So something like nano urea. So we are in very advanced stage in developing a process for that. So we would be happy to share in times to come. So, so this is all I would like to say, that only because of the technology and competence and in the service and performance, we are growing continuously. So we are all like all of you. So we just happen to be engineer, happen to work in your industry as an engineers or managers. Then we came together, we started the industry. So we are all first generation middle class entrepreneurs trying to do something good for the nation. So that's the only card I have. So yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for Sista and Bijli Minister. Thank you very much, sir. So if you have any questions, so we can discuss.
Sanjay sir.
Yes, sir.
Now what the industry facing problem is, suddenly now oil company has put a circular, the new standard for the ethanol. Initially now most of the sugar fat is operating with the sulfidation process.
Yes, sir.
Now the sulfur is a major issue. Now maybe next year tender they may take it very seriously.
Yeah.
See, sugar on other side we are manufacturing sugar. Sugar also important product.
Yeah. Yeah.
So changing process for derivation process will be difficult.
Yeah.
Because our leading technology provider,
Yeah.
something can be done on the distillery side so that
Yeah.
this sulfur can be eliminated, so that the sulfidation process also can be next year not
Yeah.
any threat to the company.
Yes, sir. Basically, sir, even in when you produce ENA, so we used to have this problem. Many places we have a lot of sulfur coming in molasses. So a simple solution was providing two copper vessels. So that will absorb all the active copper. So you need to keep changing and reactivating. So that could be possible. But of course, in the product quality, that can be very easily taken care. And there can be another column like simmering column where you boil a lot of these volatiles. So that is also another. So, but the main challenge is to how to protect your equipment. When you have very high sulfur, there are a lot of reboiler tubes, column bottom segments will get corroded. So, of course, with certain degree of confidence, we can say that if I use SS316L seamless tubes or SS316, so we can always protect. So probably, we all, including all our other friends, so we need to design the plants to really combat the sulfur, especially in the distillery side. So that can be done very easily, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the SISTA as well as the SNSI for organizing the seminar, especially for the my question is machinery manufacturer. Hello. We are producing the ethanol by the way of syrup, DDP as well as.
Yes, sir.
So is there any effect on the equipment by using syrup? Because as the syrup is having a low pH, sometimes it's up and down.
Yeah.
So as per my knowledge, there is no effect on the equipment by using the pH as well.
Yeah.
So is there any effect by using the syrup?
Yeah.
The equipment keep it there. What are the precautions or during the commissioning itself or during the design and supply itself? Any suggestions you are going to have?
Yeah.
Question is for all the manufacturers, not only
Yeah. Basically, there are few equipments which we have to protect with better material of construction, like the vacuum pump. Frequent corrosion erosion is there in vacuum system. That is one area. Then you have recovery column bottom. So in our case, we don't have a recovery column. So and some reboilers. Of course, the maintaining very low VA in the syrup, that itself is a solved problem. So it can be done. It is not that it is not done. So in many plants, when we commissioned last season, so almost 20-25 plants we commissioned on syrup. Initially, everyone had a lot of VA, lot of sulfur, a lot of the bacterial load in the. So mill standardization, then maintaining the proper control on the boiling house, syrup diversion, so those lines, even the coolers, so all they are there. But as a double safety, we can also take care this issue in the distillation, little bit of improvement in the MOC of certain parts. So that can be done. Of course, you are right. As compared to B heavy and C, the syrup is giving us a lot of challenges. Yeah.
Grain-based ethanol also a sustainable approach. Have you not forecast the escalating price of grain also? Because it's, whether there is any tag is given for controlling the price of grains,
Yeah.
so that it should become viable.
Yeah, right now, if you see the improvement in efficiency, that is one, because as a technology provider, we can, almost 95% of the work we'll do on the technical side, and 5% probably with the government, giving the input. So our approach is to first try what best we can do technically, then you put up the numbers to the government through certain institutes like Nijalingappa Institute or VSI or NSI. So that is what we have been doing. So for example, grain, just couple of years ago, this is about the North India. So the yield was 450, 455 liters per ton of broken rice. So now it has gone to 480 in last 1.5 years. So in fact, some of the plants we built for Globus, they are going above 500 liters for FCI rice. So this is one good news. And there are quite a few enzyme suppliers like Catalyst, Novozyme, or Alpha Enzymes. They are also working continuously hard to improve the alcohol percentage. Now average alcohol percentage in grain is 15 plus. So this can go up to 18-20%. So that further reduces your water requirement, with your steam cost, a lot of hardware cost it can reduce, even the electricity can come down. So then steam, of course, we have been, we have become a master of reducing the steam. So now our target is to go to 1.5. So with all these improvement, we are confident. Supposing if your processing cost is 12 rupees a liter, so now we can, as of now, we can claim it can be 9.5 rupees. Then in next year probably we come to 8 rupees. But your costs go up, then the government agencies have to really understand that this whole ethanol program is for Indian industry, Indian sugar industry, farmers and the investors. So it should not be linked to your international crude price and the dollar and rupee equations. So they should just link it to fuel cost and some conversion cost and your raw material cost. So then only this becomes more, because otherwise we keep on reducing the cost and certain things keep on increasing. So for example, I'll give you in West Bengal. When people started claiming they are getting 10 liters more, all the traders come together, they increase the broken rice price by that extent. So there's no the end to it. So end of the day, we all should talk to the government. Okay, you have many companies, you have every month increase in the DA. So that is to cover your inflation. So they should also have some formula to cover our general inflation of 8% every month or every year. So average. So definitely, I personally believe grain can be very sustainable. So we started the grain policy is very good, but we are started with a wrong approach, having a dry milling and then having to have a very high. So if I am allowed to do wet milling, then ethanol will become a byproduct for the maize to ethanol industry. So main product will become a lot of other byproducts of the. So I think these things, eventually once the investment comes, then the lobbies develop and a lot of education will be there. And that is the time I think the grain ethanol will become more sustainable. Even the farmers also, because even today also I am a farmer. So this corn and sugar cane, why they are popular? Only because you don't need much labor and it's very easy to harvest because you have machines, you have labor coming from somewhere else. So eventually, all these crops will become very popular with a lot of ethanol industry being set up pan-India basis.
Thanks for the nice presentation. I think it's time for the lunch because already ready to.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a lot of innovative ideas come.
Yes.
Only thing is when you only one point.
Yes. Yes.
People are working for reduction of 16%, 3% on the alga. But the thing is, we have to balance with the power supply also.
Yeah,
On one
yeah.
side, we introduce new technology like MBR,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
Unless electricity is available at the
Yeah,
plant,
yeah.
then there will be a difference. Already, major issue is the using spent wash.
Yeah.
In case of syrup, at least the quality is coming down. We are able to fire it in the boiler.
Yeah.
Whereas in terms of going by PHV and all, when you reduce a steam percent beyond certain stage,
Yes.
then it will be unbalanced between the power and the, so it will be left with how to manage this.
Basically, sir,
this is a
for-
question.
yeah.
Keeping this in mind, if we are able
Just
to work
only
on-
one, two sentence, sir. For greenfield plant, we have realized that, by reducing steam, so capex will not increase. Because, when I reduce steam, your water treatment goes down, CPU goes down, your cooling towers capacity goes down, boiler capacity goes down. So to compensate, many of the electricity consumption also is reducing. So then whatever electricity I'm putting for MER, that is already reduced in the cooling tower and many other places. So this is for a greenfield it is much easier. And only thing is the boiler, wherever we have problem in steam and power balance, we are recommending that people go with reaction turbine, go with a very high pressure boiler. So people have already started ordering 90 kg boiler for the distilleries. Even I'm doing 30 ton 90 kg boilers. So these are possibilities. So yeah, I think sir, 3.1 is operating for grain. For molasses it is 2.7 BHV and syrup could be 2.5. So power offhand I don't remember, but it could be around 0.6 or so achieved.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Yeah.